Alrighty, everybody. Welcome in to week 2 Fantasy Corner here at Wide Eye Sports. You got the three of us, Spoon, me, Riley, hosting as always. We're going to get into everything you need to know for week 2 in the NFL fantasy football. So go ahead and roll the credits and let's get into it. All right, so we're going to start it off quick. We're going to go right into things. Waiver wire must adds. I got a few at each position. I'm going to start off with quarterback. Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield needs to be off the waiver. If he's on the waiver in your league, he needs to be on your roster. Go pick him up, get him on your team, sit him. He is third in the league in total passing touchdowns since he signed with the Bucks, behind only Dak and Jordan Love. So you need to have him on your team. He's throwing touchdowns. He's distributing the ball well. He's a little turnovery, but not too turnovery that needs to worry you. He should be on a team. Get him off your waiver wire.
Especially if you have a player like Jordan Love who's out for a few weeks. Baker is a great pickup to add.
Another great quarterback to pick up, Sam Bradford.
Throwback.
No.
Matthew Stafford. I don't know why I said Sam Bradford. No clue why Sam Bradford came in my mouth. Matthew Stafford. He's gonna be firing on all cylinders. He's Matthew Stafford. There's not much more to say there. He'll always be a kind of a staple guy that you can lean on whenever times get tough. So both those quarterbacks, great ads. You guys got any quarterbacks must adds? Or you just agree with those?
That's good? Fine. I mean, I see that there's some leagues that still maybe not.
I mean, I would imagine both those guys are in like the 30 to 35% rostered range. So yeah. I would imagine.
Well, I know Baker's low. I know it just boosted up, but he's at 43%. So you still got over a 50% chance that he's still on the waiver right now in your league. So
go check it out.
Go get him.
You guys might not like this, but
no, don't say it. Just stop. He got you 11 points last week. Don't say it. Do not listen to him if he says this name.
Justin Fields against
He tried to claim this last week too. He's like, dude, you think Justin Fields would be a good start against the Falcons? I'm telling you, dude, he'd be good.
And I was like, QB 15.
Bro, he had 11 points against the Falcons.
He did not.
Yes, he did.
No, we'll talk about this after the podcast. He did not have 11. The last time he played Denver, he was the quarterback 3. He finishes as QB in the QB top 10 in over half of his games over the last 2 years. I think he could have a big day against Denver.
I think that you are right. He could have a big day. I definitely think that's possible.
He's on the waiver. He will be on waivers.
I don't think it's probable. I'll put it that way. There is a chance in which he goes off and has 2 rushing touchdowns, whatever. But last week...
He is currently QB 18. He had me 18 points last week. 18
He had... I don't know what league you're playing in with crazy rules, but in a standard scoring league for quarterbacks, he had 11.94 points.
Well, in the league I have him in, he did just fine.
He had 14 rushing attempts for 57 yards and 17 completions for 156 yards. And that's just in a normal 0.25 for every 10 and 4 points for every touchdown. He has upside. I'll give you that. And he's playing a terrible team. I will give you those. I'll give you those too.
He owns them.
I'll give it to you. I hate it, but I'll give it to you. All right, we'll move on to running back. Obvious must add Jordan Mason. If you haven't already, that needs to be probably the number 1 waiver wire. He's probably gone by now, but if you've seen this, it's worth checking. It's worth checking for sure. Tank Bigsby, only rostered in 4.6% of leagues, had almost a 50% split with Travis Etienne. Didn't have the same production Etienne had, but still played well. And had true 50-50 goal line or short yardage percentage as Etienne. I think they both had 6 short yardage snaps where they touched the ball. So Tank Bigsby must add. And then last one, I got Miles Sanders, Miles Sanders led the team in short yardage touches, which means he's going to be the goal line back. So Miles Sanders is a must-add. Spoon, you got anybody?
Yeah, I was just gonna bring him up. I know you said that he does have high ownership, but I'm still seeing that he's only owned in 61% of leagues right now. Get J.K. Dobbins. He had an excellent week. I mean, he averaged 13.5 yards a carry. Yeah,
I got him.
Yeah, definitely. If you're in one of those leagues one of the 39% leagues that don't have him, just grab him now.
Yeah. Love the J.K. Dobbins pickup. I thought for sure Gus Edwards was going to be the guy. Apparently he's not. J.K. Dobbins is that guy. Good for him. Riley, you got anybody? You want to move on to wide receivers?
Let's go to wide receivers.
Cool. All right, so wide receivers, I had Brandon Cooks as my number one waiver wire pickup. He's rostered in 29% of leagues, and he is, I believe, 4th in the NFL in touchdowns per reception. So he's not going to get a ton of receptions, but he's going to get those tuds. So make sure to pick him up. I have Demarcus Robinson from the Rams with Puka Nacua going down for a while. You have an opening there for him to get some extra receptions, extra targets, like that pickup. And then Josh Downs from the Indianapolis Colts. Really, really like him. You saw, what's the kid's name? Alec Pierce. He had a good game last week. He was playing in Josh Downs' spot. Josh Downs, that's his role. He missed week 1, but he'll be back for week 2. So Josh Downs is a good waiver wire pickup, in my opinion. Spoon, Riley, you guys got anybody?
Man, I was going to go with Alec Pierce. I think he's going to end up taking.
Yeah, he could. He could take it over.
Spot. Yeah. He only had 3 receptions, but he had 120 yards. Who knows what he can do with more receptions and a bigger.
He went up and got one. Yeah. He had that touchdown, and then there was another one deep over the middle where he goes up and high points and comes down with it, which was a really good catch.
And so, according to Sleeper, he's only rostered in like 14% of leagues.
Yeah.
I have a couple. So my big thing is targets. Obviously, when it comes to wide receivers.
That was my last guy has 11. So
yeah. So
I think you might have him.
I'm looking. Well, I probably don't, but I'm looking at Tyler Johnson already out. Yeah. Backing up, coming in, getting some targets with Puka being out, especially. Yep. He got 7 targets last week. I love that. Yep. Another one that I really like was Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah,
he got 5 targets. He only brought in 3 of them, but I feel like with what he did with those targets alone, if Derek Carr just runs him the ball a couple more times, like he's worth a shot at the waiver for sure.
For sure.
And then I have one who didn't get a lot of targets, but I'm still high on him. He still put up some fantasy points, and that's Khalil Shakir.
Okay.
Shakir.
Okay.
Don't know if I'm pronouncing Shakir. I thought that he was going to be definitely utilized, and he was. I mean, he scored a touchdown, 42 yards receiving, 10 points right there alone before you add in the 3 receptions. So I'm keeping an eye on him. I'm not targeting him yet, but he could be a guy that I more than likely end up with before the season's over.
I want to throw one more guy in there, and I don't trust anybody that this quarterback throws to, so that's why I left him till the very end. If you're truly desperate, Wan'Dale Robinson had 11 targets on Sunday. That's 11 targets from Daniel Jones, though, and I don't trust Daniel Jones at all.
I was going to say, I'm reading something here that says he had 12 targets. So even that,
12 targets. So I was off. So I mean, 12 targets, that's a lot. And I'm a big fan of targets. Big fan of targets. You can't go wrong with like going off of targets. So Wan'Dale Robinson, he's only rostered, and I have 6.9% of leagues right here. So it's a possibility. 12 targets. Daniel Jones. Yeah. But if you're desperate, he's there for you. Tight ends, Isaiah Likely. You need to add Isaiah Likely because apparently Mark Andrews plays left tackle now. So I don't know if you guys saw that. Mark Andrews literally had a snap at left tackle on the Thursday night game. So that's wild. So Isaiah Likely is my number 1 must-add tight end. Taysom Hill, still only rostered in 46% of leagues. He's a spot start tight end, but there's some games where his upside is super high. So you should probably have him on your roster if you're weak at tight end. And then Colby Parkinson, the Rams tight end, with Puka going out, you have a guy who's only rostered in less than 2% of leagues that could see an uptick in targets and opportunities due to Puka's injury. So I like it. Anybody else at tight end you guys like?
I have a couple.
Yeah.
Mike Gesicki.
Yeah.
So here's my thing.
The gritty king.
So he did only end up with 5 fantasy points, but had 4 targets on 3 receptions. But one of those receptions that he caught was a touchdown that was brought back.
Yes.
So I am keeping an eye on Gesicki because that touchdown alone puts him as, I don't know, like one of the top 10, top 15 scoring tight ends this week.
Yeah.
So if he's getting red zone targets, that's something that I love from a tight end, first of all.
Yeah.
And then you have a couple tight ends on here that they're good streamers, honestly, and I'm going to keep my eye on them as well. Chig Okongwu. I always keep an eye on him to see how he does. Got a touchdown. Love that. Juwan Johnson for the Saints. Always keeping an eye on him too. And he got another touchdown. That's what I'm saying. Just whenever you're like, streaming tight ends or looking for somebody, let's say your tight end goes down, keep an eye on these guys because the more times that they get red zone targets, that's just going to help you out.
And if I can add something, tight end is one of those positions where like you see like, you know, the 31st ranked defense this week. Like for running backs, that doesn't always matter. For wide receivers, that doesn't always matter, right? Like CeeDee Lamb going up against a top 5 defense, you're still going to start CeeDee Lamb, right? No matter what. Jamar Chase going up against top 5, you're going to start Jamar Chase. Tight ends are a little more dependent, right? Like you have a, you know, top 10 tight end, but he's going up against the number 2 ranked defense. You kind of need a spot start that week sometimes. And so these guys are great spot starts that are, you know, if you see one of them's got the 29th overall defense against tight ends, snag that guy, pick him up, start him for a week. It's, you know, high upside, relatively low floor. So I really like flex streaming tight ends in tough spots. If you don't have a Travis Kelce, a Sam Laporta, those guys, I really like flex streaming tight ends sometimes. So that's always useful and can get you out of a sticky situation. All right. Anybody else got any waiver wire pickups they want? Anybody else? Any waiver wire pickups? Once, twice, 3 times, sold. We're going to move on to must-start players this week. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. We're going to each give one of each. So I will lead it off with tight end. And I believe Spoon may have picked this guy. I think he gave him a shout out or he picked this guy. I can't remember. Evan Ingram for the
I did. He
Jacksonville
was
Jaguars.
I gave him a shout out last week.
Yep. He just target machine every week. I really like him this week. He's a must start in your fantasy leagues.
How did he do last week?
I don't know if he did great. I can look it up real quick. Give me 2 seconds. Anybody else want to name off their tight end?
Man.
Tight end's a tough one.
Yeah.
It always is.
I honestly don't have.
Ingram didn't play well last week. He had 1 reception on 4 targets at 4.5 points, but
the targets, so they're there. He's just got to haul them in. That's all it is.
Yep. He was also playing a top 5 defense against tight ends. Again, one of the things I said, guys that are, you know, fringe top 10 like Evan Ingram that facing a really, really good defense against tight ends don't usually do well. He's playing Cleveland this week. They're a middle of the road defense. He'll probably see more targets. And then the 2 weeks after that, he's facing top 5 worst against tight ends. So the next 3 to 6 weeks, Evan Ingram is a really good play. So
yeah.
Anybody else, or you guys want to just nix the tight end?
I like Pat Freiermuth.
Yeah,
against Denver.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, great one. Great one.
So I love McBride.
Trey McBride.
I love me some Trey McBride. The only thing that he put up a lot of points last week. I think he was like the 5th highest scoring tight end. I really like him this week against the Rams, but Sam Laporta didn't do the best against the Rams. He still scored a touchdown, which definitely helped him. But yeah, I'm going for him this week.
Cool.
7 targets is something I will love.
Ingram, Freiermuth, Laporta. Those are your must-start tight ends for week 2.
McBride, not Laporta.
Or sorry, McBride. I said Laporta, not Laporta. McBride. You guys want quarterback or wide receiver next?
Go quarterback.
Quarterbacks?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
My must-start QB of the week, Jaden Daniels against the New York Football Giants. I think at the second half of the game last week, he looked calm. He looked good. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. I think he has at least a rushing touchdown and at least a passing touchdown and racks up the rushing yards against the Giants. I think he'll have a day. I love Jaden Daniels in this spot with his fantasy upside. I see him as a 25-point guy this week. That's my must start this week.
Okay, I'm going to kind of go along those same lines, and I'm going to say Caleb for 2 reasons, okay? If the Bears win, it's going to be because Caleb has a good day. And if the Bears are not winning, it's going to be a lot of pass attempts for Caleb Williams. So either way, either the play will be there or the attempts will be there.
I am shocked right now.
How?
To say, I mean, the dude just went less than 50% with almost 30 attempts and couldn't cross 100 yards against a bad defense.
Yeah, it's a new week. Do you expect him to pass for 90 yards every week now?
No, but making him your start of the week is ballsy, man. Ballsy.
That's what we do around here.
That's fair.
Someone's got to make some real picks around these parts.
I like it. We're couch quarterbacks here. We make stupid things.
You want a real pick? I got you a real pick.
Hit me with a real pick.
My quarterback start of the week is a guy who had the same amount of passing attempts last week as Josh Allen. Threw the ball quite a bit. Didn't do as much as Josh Allen did, obviously, but I'm taking Trevor Lawrence. And here's my reason why. They play Cleveland. Cleveland has a very good run defense. I think Lawrence is going to be passing the ball quite a bit, and they're going to lean on him to lead them to a dub. So I'm taking Trevor Lawrence here.
That, my friend, is a ballsy take.
It is a ballsy take, but
I like it.
That's the matchup I like.
I like it a lot. That is wild. Let's go wide receivers. Let's move on to wide receivers. Sorry, I'm a little shook up by that take right there. My must-start wide receiver of the week is A.J. Brown. I think he's just going to rack up targets this week, and I think he's going to have a 20, 25-point ball game. I think he's just going to get targets, maybe a touchdown, maybe even 2. I really look forward to seeing what he can do this week. They're going to really lean on him. I think they're going to really load the box up to stop Saquon after week 1. They saw what Saquon can do. They're going to be like, all right, we can't let that happen to us. And A.J. Brown is a man coverage eater. That's what he does. So lots of loaded boxes against Saquon, lots of man coverage on the outside equals A.J. Brown having a day.
I just want to tell the people at home real quick, based off of my pick, I know that you think I'm crazy for the quarterback pick. Just real quick, I was not picking a guy that's a starter. I'm going after a guy that's probably on the waivers that you could pick up. Because otherwise, I'd be saying it's probably C.J. Stroud against the Bears is my start of the week. Just letting everybody know that was the route I took. Okay.
All
Before you think I'm crazy, I'm just picking somebody off the waiver more than likely. But my start of the week for the wide receiver, one that really stands out to me, and I know he's obviously going to be rostered in every single league, is Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love me some Cooper Kupp against Arizona this week. He's going to be getting quite a few more targets, I think, with Puka being out. They're going to start setting up just for him.
I mean, what he had like last week, like 14
targets.
Yeah,
he had 10 targets.
10 targets. Oh, I thought he had like 14.
Yeah, but the thing is if you're looking at receivers, Tyreek Hill 10, CeeDee Lamb 10, Cooper Kupp has 10 as well. Yeah. He's up there getting the same amount of targets, and that's with Puka out. Puka's going to be out again this week. Cooper Kupp is 100%. If he's on any of my rosters, I think he's on like 1.
No. Cooper Kupp had 21 targets last week, dude.
21?
20. I'm looking at Sleeper right now.
It's showing
against Detroit, 21 targets, 14 receptions, 110 yards, and a touchdown.
What is it? Because I'm on Sleeper as well, and it's showing me 10 targets for 7 receptions.
It's super weird. Here, I'll show you my screen here. I'll share screen for a minute. Unless I'm looking at the wrong thing here. I mean, I got 33 fantasy points, 21 targets, 14 receptions, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Are you looking at 23?
No, I'm looking at 24.
Yeah.
I'm looking at projections. That's my fault.
Okay.
Yep.
That's, I was going to say, I swear he had like a ton of targets. So, yeah, 14 receptions, 21 targets, dude. I mean,
that is insane. But yeah, I was looking at...
But he is 98% rostered. So, dude, he only was 13% started last week. Could you imagine having that on your bench?
That is crazy. Yeah, I started him in the league that I had. I mean, I drafted him in like the 4th round this year too. Like nobody
wanted him because
nobody wanted him. Yeah,
but now Puka's hurt,
which is crazy. Yeah, now Puka's hurt. Now everybody wishes they took Cooper Kupp.
Now they wish they had what we had.
But yeah, all right. Yeah, Kupp is my 100% start of the week.
Riley?
My start of the week is going to be Chris Godwin against Detroit. I think Mike Evans is going to be getting a lot of the attention from Detroit's defense.
Yeah.
Last week, Chris Godwin, he played 80% of the snaps, 8 targets, 8 receptions, 80 yards, and a touchdown. I think Tampa's going to try and get the ball out of Baker's hands quick, kind of keep roll and build off of what they did last week, and I think Chris Godwin's going to be a big part of that.
I like it. Running backs. Running back starts of the week. I mean, I'm going to go J.K. Dobbins against the Panthers. I mean, it's hard. I mean, he got I think he got 60% of the snaps. He obviously was the better running back.
Yep.
And I think Jim Harbaugh is going to lean on him. Jim Harbaugh likes to run the rock, and J.K. Dobbins is a little bit faster, but he's I think he's, here, I'll give you the exacts. He's 5'10", 215. So he weighs as much as Adrian Peterson did, but he's 4 inches shorter. So he's more of a Frank Gore archetype than people really like to give him credit for. And we all know what Harbaugh was able to do with Frank Gore. Not saying they're the same player, but just he's more in that archetype of player. And I think he's going to lean on Dobbins to have a really big game against the 31st ranked defense in the Panthers.
I'm going to be honest, man. I'm going to pick somebody else, but I'm going to go even better. And I'm going to say, if you have Gus Edwards or J.K. Dobbins, start both of them. Honestly, I think that
either or.
As somebody who started Gus Edwards last week, I would like to advocate against that.
Well, I'm just saying for this week, because they are both going against Carolina, and if J.K. Dobbins is going to, in fact, their number one, that means Gus Edwards is probably going to get a lot of carries as well.
Maybe, who knows? I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Start of the week, though.
Riley, you have yours? You ready?
Riley, do you have yours? If you have yours, go ahead and say it.
Yes. My start of the week, David Montgomery.
Yeah.
Now,
I like it.
A lot of times I don't like guys in committee backfields, right? Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs is there. He's a good player. But last week, David Montgomery, on 50% of snaps, had 17 carries, 91 yards, and a tud. Obviously, the run game is a big part of what Detroit wants to do, what they're going to do.
He had 49% of snaps. Get it right.
I'm sorry. But David Montgomery is going to be a big part in what they try to do every week. I think the touches will be there. I think the red zone reps will be there. I think he's a great lock for next week.
Yep. Gibbs had 51% of snaps, 11 attempts, and 6 targets, while Montgomery had 17 attempts and 1 target. So their touches are very similar. They're getting similar touches. It's just if they're
different
up, if
types.
they're not. Yeah, different types. Thunder and lightning. Everybody has been very high on Jahmyr Gibbs coming out, the high draft pick. He is the lightning to Montgomery's thunder.
Yes.
Dan Campbell, since he has been in Detroit, has had Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson, since he's been in Detroit, has run the exact same thing. He had Jamal Williams as the thunder, and who was the other kid they had for a minute? Swift as the lightning, right? They had thunder and lightning. Williams was able to lead the league in touchdown rushing touchdowns when he was there. Then he moves on to New Orleans, does nothing. They like the thunder and lightning aspect. They like Montgomery in the short yardage, third and short or first down, second down, long distances. They like Montgomery. Then they bring, Gibbs in for the passing game, all that kind of stuff. So Montgomery's not going anywhere. A lot of people expected, Jahmyr Gibbs to be the RB1 in Detroit now.
Yep.
That's not how that's going to work. They haven't done that the entire time they've been in Detroit. They're not going to just change it out of nowhere.
Which I'm going to just give a point too. I thought that was actually crazy that mostly like the draft had Gibbs going in the second round.
Yeah, that was wild.
And they had David Montgomery going in like the 7th, 8th round.
Yeah, it made no sense.
I have no idea why. Like I was hammering David Montgomery in most of those leagues, 100%.
And as a Bears fan, I've been high on David Montgomery since he was in Chicago. I think he can be.
Don't be a homer. Nobody likes that.
So what it's looking like to me, from what I saw, it's looking like David Montgomery's like. He's going to be the running back to start the first quarter and the fourth quarter. Then they're going to go Gibbs the second and third quarter. That's literally what it looked like. I watched Montgomery play most of the beginning snaps of that game, and then I saw Gibbs come in.
Yeah, they're gonna lean on Montgomery when they get a lead, and they're gonna lean on Montgomery to establish the run game. So in the beginning of the game, they got to establish. Late in the game, they got to lean, right? And that's when they'll use him. They'll use Gibbs in the middle to be explosive and create big plays down the field and use him as a distraction. And it's worked. This has worked every year for Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's a genius. I've admitted it. I've told people in the comments that call me crazy for thinking Detroit's not going to be good when he leaves. Like, Ben Johnson is a genius. Like, a straight up genius. I hate it. Dan Campbell's a fraud.
I see that you made a sleeper pickup.
I did.
Spoon, while we're on the pod.
Spoon, I get a notification from Spoon picked up Baker Mayfield. Now it dropped Jordan Addison, and I was like, "Oh, I had Jordan Addison."
Just everybody at home, I have Jordan Love. I don't have a backup QB, so I might as well go ahead and hurry up and get a backup QB. And I just picked up Likely, so I'm not dropping him.
Yeah, no. And then I had Gus Edwards, and I dropped him because I am that high on J.K. Dobbins right now. I think J.K. is going to run away with the RB1 role in that offense.
So I didn't get my running back start of the week. I'm just going to give it to him you guys real quick. It's Isaiah Pacheco against the Bengals. Ramondre Stevenson had a phenomenal game last week against Cincinnati, much better than I thought he would do. Cincinnati couldn't stop the run, it looked like. So I'm just going to go with Pacheco versus the Bengals here.
I like it. Riley?
I already gave it. Yeah, I was the one that was taking forever. Also,
force a habit.
I just want everybody to know that we have an 8-man league that we've been doing for 11 years now. It's been going on for a while. It's been 11 years. We're on 11 seasons now, dude.
Jesus Christ,
I just want to point out that I put up a hell of a lot of points this week.
Yeah, you did.
I put up 170 points, and the next closest to me was 135.
Yeah. He put up a lot of points this is our high school league. Riley's not in this league. He's in one of our dynasty leagues with us. But I
started Cooper Kupp. I started Alvin Kamara. I started Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
That was, and then Brandon Aubrey, my kicker, got me 21 points. Jeez.
Yeah.
Tell me. And that's with having I think the highest scoring receiver was Reed last week. He was on my bench. I didn't even need him.
In a Yahoo league I'm in, my highest scoring player was the Bears defense.
Jesus.
I won. They had like 30 points or something.
That tells you right there, defenses can win you.
So this is a bit of an anomaly league, right? So me and Riley are in a league together, and it's an anomaly league for sure. 2 running backs, 3 receivers, 2 flexes, a tight end, a super flex, like lots of players. But I managed to pull off 218 points in this league. There was somebody else who was right behind me. I think they had like 217, I think. But then I think the next closest was like $180. So lots of high scoring there. But I did manage to get 1 highest scoring in a league. So that was the thing. But yeah. Anything else anybody got to add for the fantasy matchups? Anybody else?
I don't think so.
No? Nope. Okay, real quick before we move on here. I believe the Thursday night game is who's the Thursday night game this week? I don't have it written down. I thought I had it written down.
Buffalo, Miami.
Yeah,
Buffalo and Miami. What do you guys think of this game?
I think it's. I mean, I know the over's high, but I still think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's excellent for fantasy. I love it.
I think it'll be heartbreaking for Miami.
God, I don't know how you can watch that game that Buffalo was in. I mean, they looked great, but they were playing the 32nd ranked defense from last year. They're just not going to be able to score like Miami's going to be able to score in Miami.
I don't trust Tua. They blew a 3-game lead on the division last year.
That wasn't Tua's fault. They lost half their defense.
Oh, it's his job to put up points. Yeah, that's.
So now QB wins matter. QB wins matter.
QB's ability to play the game matter. I think Tua is a product of his surroundings. I don't think Tua is a top 10 quarterback. Yeah, I think if Tyreek Hill had a different quarterback with Mike McDaniels, he'd have 2,000 yards by now.
I mean, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm changing the subject completely. So
I was gonna say, didn't Tua lead the NFL in passing yards last year?
Yeah, he did.
I mean, how do you not trust the leader in passing yards? It's not like he's Jameis Winston throwing it up 50-50.
Sam Howell led the league in passing yards for 8 weeks. Does that
for like
mean that
4? For like 4 weeks.
No, we were in like week 8, and he had the lead.
No.
Well,
what were you gonna say?
I was gonna move over to pick'ems. If anybody is in pools or Survivor League,
yeah.
Let's give some picks out real quick before it's over.
Yeah, absolutely. Spoon, you're more than welcome to go first.
Okay, so we are, just to give everybody clarification, we're in a Survivor League where we pick games each week. Brenner already had to buy back because he lost last week. I'm sorry, buddy.
I was on. So the way pick'em leagues work is you pick one team, and once you use that team, you can't use them the rest of the season. And if you lose, you're out. And if you win, you move on. Most pick'em leagues have a week 1 buyback. So if you're eliminated week 1, you can buy back in for double the original price. So ours is only 10. I bought back in for 20 because I wanna go for it. I was on Cincinnati, as were a lot of people.
Yes. Half of our Survivor pool was on Cincinnati. Luckily, I picked Seattle.
Only 2 people have bought back in so far, so looking good.
I just want to give out, obviously, the Ravens over the Raiders is a pretty good pick for you. Chargers, Carolina is pretty safe.
Pittsburgh over Denver.
Pittsburgh over Denver is probably
Indy
really
over
safe.
Green Bay.
Yep. That one I'm still a little iffy on, but I'm definitely gonna say, like, man,
Malik Willis.
I get that. I've already made the bet.
I know. I've already made the bet. I'm just not confident in it.
No, I'm confident in it. I'm just saying, like, these are 100%. Like, I think these are the best picks you can make in the Survivor pool.
Okay.
And I mean, if you don't want to waste I get it. You don't want to use the Ravens week 1 or week 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Chargers, do you plan on using them again? Probably not. Take them against Carolina.
Yeah, I don't hate that. But for sure, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh.
I just feel like I'm gonna have to use
Chargers, Indy, and those are all good teams. I also like the Jets.
Pick whoever's playing Denver. Fuck it.
Yeah, seriously. Whoever's playing.
It worked for me last week.
Whoever's playing New England. Is New England coming off a win? Whoever plays, like, you don't expect the bad teams to win 2 in a row. So, like, whoever's playing New England. I think it's the Seahawks, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Hawks, not a bad. You can't use them.
I can't use them. I already used them last week.
You used them last week, but Seahawks, probably not going to use them a bunch later on in the season. That'd be a good pick now. So, but all right, we got anything else? Anything else anybody wants to say? All right. Well, enjoy Thursday Night Football tonight, guys. Make sure to make sure to subscribe. We appreciate you. And we'll see y'all next week.